There are 5 skills that I learned in my 20s that genuinely changed my life. I'm 29 now, and of everything I did in my 20s, learning these 5 skills paid off the most. They let me buy property in London, run a 30-person team at a top agency, and now run my company while travelling to amazing places like this. Each of these 5 skills will give you an advantage, but when you start to combine them, they become incredibly powerful. The first skill is the basis of everything you do in your career. It'll help you to be easily employable or get a contract or freelance job whenever you want. Plus, it'll help you to dramatically out-earn your friends if you're early in your career. I call this a core skill, something that's in high demand, is very specialised, and requires a lot of practice to master. For me, that core skill was coding, but that doesn't have to be yours. You could learn UI or motion design, marketing, or video editing, or something else. It just has to be highly specialised and in demand. Learning this skill isn't easy. It's tiring, time-consuming, and emotionally draining. But once you do learn it, it'll pay you forever. This skill has been responsible for at least half of the money I've made in my life. It got me my first real job without going to university and helped me to out-earn my friends who did. But the biggest benefit of a core skill isn't the short-term increase in earnings. It's that your skill becomes a safety net. It gives you the confidence to take more risks because you know you're highly employable. If a new project or business doesn't work out, you always have something to fall back on. Now, I love coding because it creates so much leverage. You create something once and deliver it to millions of people instantly. That's why Naval Ravikant calls it the second highest leverage skill in the world. But it's not the highest. That would be media, or as it's more commonly known, content. With content, like coding, you can create something once and deliver it to millions of people. Code lets you solve people's problems by making tools. Content lets you solve people's problems with information. And when you do that, you build an audience, a group of people with the same interests and problems as you. I truly realised the power of content in the past few years. I worked with big creators to launch businesses for their audiences. For those creators, it didn't take months to get their first customers. In fact, they built 7-figure businesses literally overnight. They had already built an audience of people with the same challenges as them and who already trust them. So as soon as they solved those challenges with a business, they had customers. Now, like learning a core skill, this isn't easy, but you can make it easier by starting with what suits you. If you love writing, you can focus on blog posts, newsletters, or writing platforms like X or LinkedIn. Or if you're more visual like me, you can focus on YouTube. I've only been taking content more seriously for about a year now, and it's already created more opportunities than I ever imagined. They say that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So if you're not building your audience yet, start now. You'll learn lots of skills along the way and meet people that you never would have otherwise. Plus, it becomes even more powerful when you learn this next skill. This next skill is one that I don't think people even realise is a skill. It's called popularization, which is the ability to make complex ideas easy to understand for everyone. Think about the last time you tried to explain something complicated to a friend. If their eyes glazed over and you got the feeling that they were just waiting for this to end, then you need this skill. This skill isn't just about dumbing things down, it's about making knowledge approachable and interesting. It doesn't matter what field you're in. You need to be able to demonstrate your expertise without boring someone to tears. All of the best content creators, educators, and salesmen are masters of this. They help you to understand complicated concepts without feeling like you're stuck in a lecture. This is something I learned slowly over the years by selling software development services. When I first started, I would bombard clients with technical gibberish. I wanted to show them that I knew what I was talking about, but in reality, all I did was make them desperate to get out of the room. As I got better at popularization, non-technical clients began to understand the details of our projects more clearly. They knew what was involved in the projects and why those steps were important, so it was much easier for them to get on board. This meant more sales, more happy clients, and overall, a much better business. I truly believe that if you have a technical skill, you can double your value just by being better at explaining it. At some point, you'll need to sign a non-technical client or get a non-technical boss to agree with your idea. And when you can explain your ideas in a way they'll understand, you'll get what you want much more often. So let's talk about that a bit more, the skill of convincing someone to do what you want. This is what separates people who get clients and promotions and those who don't. In business, we call this sales and pitching. And I hate to break it to you, but even if you hate the idea of sales, learning the basics of this will pay off more than anything else on this list. I'll be honest, I'm not a natural salesman. I started attempting to sell when I was 20, and I was horrific. I'm an introvert, so talking to strangers was definitely not my strong suit. I was just super awkward. But like most skills, the best way to learn something is through practice and feedback, which, when you try to sell things regularly, you get a lot of. And that feedback can be pretty crushing at times. But with practice, you'll get a lot better. You'll find your style and find what works for you, and you'll start to get results. And when you get results, your confidence will build and things will start to get easier and easier. If you can simplify concepts and get people to buy into your ideas, you really can do anything. People think that to become a leader, you just need to be the best builder. And while you obviously need to be very good, that's not the main requirement. You have to be able to get people to trust you and agree with your plans. To use another Naval Ravikant quote, learn to sell, learn to build. If you can do both, you'll be unstoppable. Okay, we've talked about skills that you can learn to dramatically increase your opportunities, but the truth is, none of these are easy to learn. That's what makes them valuable. If everyone could do them, they wouldn't be worth much. But how do you commit to learning them so you can get the benefits? Well, that's where the last skill comes in. And honestly, mastering this will differentiate you from other people more than anything else. This skill is delayed gratification, which is the art of focusing on long-term results rather than short-term rewards. We live in a world with a constant supply of instant dopamine. You can have junk food delivered to your door, and you can lose hours mindlessly scrolling through social media. Everything is designed to train your brain to crave instant rewards. And unfortunately, everything worth doing in life doesn't work like that. Reading books won't give you the same kind of instant rush, but it's proven to be better for learning than reading on a screen. Sitting and learning editing or coding isn't as fun as playing video games, but it will give you far more opportunities and fulfillment in the long term. And obviously, breaking this cycle of instant entertainment isn't easy. But it does get easier the more you do it. And I would argue that when the population's attention spans are decreasing by the year, when book sales are falling off a cliff, and when social media addictions are only increasing, it's become easier than ever to become unusually good at something. The bar for learning and focus is only going down, so if you can fight it, you'll quickly end up at the top of your niche. All of the biggest jumps I've made in my life required periods of delayed gratification. I once built an entire app with a friend in the evenings while running my agency. That meant hundreds of hours of slow, frustrating progress. I very rarely wanted to do it, and I was always exhausted. But in the process of building that app, I learned how to make great mobile products, and that led to one of the biggest career jumps of my life. To be honest, I could make a whole video about this topic, so if that'd be useful, let me know in the comments. But a great way to start is to practice reading books if you don't regularly right now. Like with anything, start small, practice regularly, and it'll only get easier. All of these skills give you a unique advantage or help you to build leverage. And if you don't have any of these yet, don't worry. The point of this video isn't to make you feel bad. No one starts with these skills, but maybe this will inspire you to pick one and make a positive step towards improving your skills. Start small, accept that you won't always be perfect, and just keep practicing. You won't get there overnight, but over time, your ability to create value will just keep increasing. And I think the most important thing is to just never stop trying to improve.